Satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Our first chart today is going to be from one of our listeners, Mr. SB, and his question is, he had bought this stock at 60 cents. And it's now trading at $1.05, and he was wondering what my opinion of the stock was. Well, you've got a 40% profit in the stock. The trouble is, Sean, there's two things that are in your way. First of all, and most important, is the stock is below $5 a share, and the odds of a stock making it long term after being under $5 a share is very, very slim. It's like 80% against it. So if you're looking for this thing to, double, triple, quadruple, whatever you're looking for, that's a possibility. But what I would do, and I don't know what your financial situation is, but I can see you know technical analysis enough. You can see the little parallel channels that are there off of the bottom, and you bought it perfectly on the 135 pattern. But I would put my stop at break even and let the chips fall where they may. That's about the only thing, I could think of. Now, what I did do is, because you only have a small section here, and you mentioned about the IPO that came out in April of this year, and I wanted to bring this up to let the folks see it, because if there was ever a con job on something, this was it. Just get up here and let you see it, folks. This stock had been trading at 54 here, back here in the early part of the year. And look what happened here on the IPO. I think it was right about here. You can see, we can't, now we have it. Okay, now you can see there's the IPO right here. Here's where we are now. I mean, this is, there was something wrong here. This was, I don't know what happened, but it's a health stock. I don't know what it means, and I should keep my mouth shut, because it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought of a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt. So that's it. The one thing you do want to remember here, folks, at 60 cents buying this, Sean, is that stocks that go below $5 have a very slim chance of making it longer term. So I don't know what your time frame is on this, but in the words of Louis Pasteur, chance favors the prepared mind. So put your stop in, my friend, and let it rip, because you never know. Maybe they're going to come out and buy it back at 110. The way these markets are acting, anything is possible, and, it can usually happen. So let's keep our powder dry and wait and see what happens. No matter what happens, Sean, let me know what the outcome of this is, because I would be interested in it just to see from a, educational background of why it's happening. Okay, now, folks, every day when I come on here, I give, charts and stuff of what I think is going to happen. And some of the things work, some of them don't. One of the ones I wanted to show you here, it was one from yesterday, and I wanted to bring this up here. And you're going to have to do some of the work yourself here, but just do it for the heck of it, just for kicks and giggles, and you'll be able to see where we are here. But you'll notice here, this is what we were looking at. And if you notice here, I put this little figure in right here. If you notice that right there, well, just write what that figure is down there, folks. And I believe if you take a look at it really closely, you'll see it's 33,279 is what we'd probably be predicting what would be the low in the Dow Jones Industrials today. Now, anybody that Johnny, put your hand down. You already know the answer to this one. The low of the day in the S&P was, the Dow Jones was 33,276. We missed it by 3 Dow points. So we're going to revert back to our crossover of the 400 and 800-day moving averages, and along with one of my favorite declining oscillators, and we'll see what happens next to the one thing we're having here. First of all, folks, I want to give a tribute here to our good friend Larry Williams. I've known Larry for a long, long time, but if you'll remember, way back in October. And I want to get this up here because this is something that really was very important from what we were looking at here. Let's get this up here so we can take a quick look at it. And, why isn't it coming up? There it is, coming up right here. Okay, as you can see, this level here, this goes all the way back to the 70s, folks. This was the lowest level of pessimism we've had, even worse than 08 and 09, believe it or not. Now, we were way high, comparably speaking, with prices, but the pessimism was extremely, extremely low. This was the bottom week. This is when the ABCD bottomed in the S&P that week of October the 16th. And of course, we all know what's happened since that time. We've had a good 13% rally in the stock market. So what I want to do is, Larry came out with a new, excuse my voice, folks, I have no control over it because of the sinus thing that I have, which will be all worked out by Monday, they promised me, but doctors. Folks, my grandpa used to say, whenever you go into the doctor, you look at the doctor's shingle and it'll say, Dr. Jason B. Rosenblatt, ophthalmology. And then under neck it says, practice of medicine. He says, what you want to do, he says, search in that building, find where it says Joseph P. Rosenblatt Jr., I've stopped practicing and I've got it right. That's the one you want to get to. So, doctors, they make mistakes too. The difference between their mistakes and ours is their mistakes sometimes are very, very fatal. And hey, ours can be fatal too. So let's move on to the next one. Now, something else that Larry talked about, and it's been actually folding up just like what the Federal Reserve said, is he talked about his little cycles of inflation. Now, Larry's work comes from Timing Solutions. It's a company, you can get all the stuff that you want. You have to learn how to do the cycles, of course. But, this is what he was looking for, inflation to start to come down. And you see the last two CPI, PPI numbers have actually backed off a little. That was one of the reasons why we had that tremendous rally of 1,200 points in the Dow last Friday. That was a partly reason for that. So whether that's going to mean anything or not, I don't know. Now, someone's asked me to comment about the rockets going into Poland, folks. I know about as much about that as I do brain surgery. So don't let me do brain surgery on you either. I don't. First of all, what they tell you and what actually happens is like a million miles apart, in my opinion, on almost anything you see nowadays. I mean, I've watched this stuff over and over again over these years, so I don't really like to watch the news. When someone tells me about a news item or something, like yesterday when the market was breaking really bad, that was because the two rockets had hit in, Poland. And of course, what happened is the market breaks, down quite a bit. And what does it do? It rallies right up to the 61% retracement at 40.16, which we're going to cover that here after we come back from the next break that we have. But frankly, folks, all I know is one thing, just like Curly. And the one thing that I do know is they can lie to you, they can cheat you, they can give you misinformation, they can do everything they want, put a hood over your face, whatever it is. But the one thing they can't do, folks, is hide from you. If prices are going up, there's more buyers. If prices are going down, there's more sellers. That's all you need to know. Hey, we'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstad's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstad breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks. I posted the chart, a 15-minute chart of the E-mini S&P. And as you can see, when the market was making a high for the day, we will be in a situation where it was making a 1.618 expansion up there at the high, and then the rocket's red glare hit over Poland, and the market dropped. As you can see, it dropped quite a bit. And then what it did was, the next day, it rallied back to the 61% retracement. Now, if you look at this very close, you'll notice that, and all you have to do is just pay just a tiny, tiny bit of attention to it. You'll see here, let's get this up here so we can see it really clearly, so everybody can see it. Oh dear, you telling me that I didn't put it in here? Oh, Larry, shut the front door and raise the rent. What is happening with Larry? Just a second here. Can we get it up here and we'll get it ready to go. Doggone it. I'm trying to do one thing here. And here we go. Go live here. Okay, here's where we are. There's when the rocket's red glare hit. We go from 40.65 all the way down here to 39.60. Drop 100 handles, $5,000. And then over the next several hours, you'll notice this 15-minute chart, we make a perfect 61% retracement. Now, if you believe in patterns like we have with the head and shoulders pattern, if you look at the left shoulder right back here, and if you look at the right shoulder right over here, you notice that that's perfect in time and price. In other words, the AB leg, you notice here from your leg, from your left shoulder to the high to the right shoulder is equal in time, 1.618, 618. Those are reciprocals of the Fibonacci summation sequence, and now you headed to the downside. So that's really, what you're looking at when you're doing that. Now, you don't know whether it's going to go popping through to the upside or to go up to the 78% level, which it certainly could. Now, we had a caller on yesterday from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and his question was, how do you know whether it's an A, a B, a C, or D, a 618, 786, or a 1.618? And you don't know the answer to that, boys and girls, because there's patterns within patterns. If we look at this pattern, and this is certainly a possibility of what happened. I want to get this up here, because what you have to do as a trader, you have to select what playground you're going to play in. See, now right here was actually a pretty good spot to look at it because you had a head and shoulders pattern. And that is one of the most valid patterns that Dr. Andrew Lowe found in his book, The Non-Random Walk Down Wall Street. So it's everything that you could ask for. Okay, now you also had a 61% retracement pull back here. So it's very logical to think that you should get up to this level right here. Well, I sent out one of the news videos last night. We were trading right there. And guess what my decision was? I didn't see this head and shoulders pattern until about 4 hours later when one of our friends from Denmark sent me the chart saying, hey, how come you didn't look at that head and shoulders pattern? And then I looked up in the mirror and by gosh, there was egg all over my face. And I wiped it off and I said, let's continue trading. I thought we had a possibility to get up to this level, mainly because I was looking at this A, B, C, D. You see at this level right here, all I have is a 61% retracement plus the head and shoulders, which I did not see. So what I was looking for is it was going to go up to a little bit higher than that, sell it there with about a 15-point stop, and then see what happened. And now you see we came all the way down here. Now nothing's really happened. We haven't taken out this low or anything, so there's nothing really dramatic happening here. So those are some of the things that are happening when you go through these numbers. Now, remember, folks, I talk every day about the algo traders that are out there. And if you don't think they know these numbers, here and here and here and here, all these 618 numbers, these are numbers of sacred geometry. If you ever sit down with Bryce Gilmore, and he'll put up his hand with 5 things on it, and he says, do what Pythagoras did. You have 5 senses in the human body. So you take the square roots and reciprocals of the 5 senses, and part of the summation sequence of the Fibonacci sequence, you're going to be able to see about 90% of the numbers that pop up on these algorithmic trading. And that's why when you see this, especially 1.618 and 1.27 and 618 and 786, because they're reciprocals of each other. And so that's why when you see those numbers, you have to pay close attention to them. And that's why I think it's important that you learn what they are, because we only use basically 4, well, actually 5 because of the 382, but we look at 618, 382, 786, 1.27, and 1.618 are our expansion numbers, especially 1.618, because that's the last part of the Fibonacci sequence of spirals. So if you get above here, from my opinion, we're in no man's land. You can easily go to 2.6, 4.1, 10.7, 35,000.2 like in the cryptocurrencies. Who knows? Now, another question someone asked me was about cryptocurrencies. I prefer not to say anything about it because I don't know anything about it. If I have a question, I refer to it. My friend John Jameson, he knows more about this stuff than anybody that I've talked to. And in the past 5 years that I've worked with him every day, 7 days a week, he's pretty much told me what was happening to the cryptocurrency markets, and it's been happening. He believes we're going to get down to about 10,000, maybe even as low as 4,000 in the cryptocurrencies for Bitcoin, and then from that level, all the granny gooses will be gone, and then another big leg of the market will start. But that's down the road. That's his opinion. May or may not happen, but he's been saying that for well over a year and a half, and he's saying it right now. So I have to assume that that's what's going to happen. I know some of you have made some pretty good money trading cryptocurrencies, and we're fortunate to get out when we had the 3 drive to a top pattern up there at 67,000. That was easy to see as anything that you want to see. You didn't have to have egg on your face on that one because that was a beautiful 3 drive to a top pattern in Bitcoin at 67,000. Go check it out yourself if you have any questions about that. So let's talk just a minute here about something else that was brought to our attention here today from our folks here at Thinkorswim. Had some really good ideas here. But if you'll remember, we were talking yesterday about the bullishness that we had in the crude oil market and how it looked like crude oil was getting ready to really explode to the upside. And in fact, what really happened was it didn't really do very much. As soon as the rocket hit, there was no response to the rocket. And there was a perfect example of, look, if you've got something that looks like it's going to be working, then by golly, why fade it? because if prices, you have really bullish action. I mean, possible war with Poland, hello, operator, and the market rallies 80 cents in crude oil, hell, that would be worth a $3 or $4 bump in oil back in the old days. So let's remind ourselves of that. Now, getting back to the numbers, remember we talked about this yesterday because it hasn't been violated, and we're starting a rally mode here back in the U.S. dollar. We hit the exact tick, folks, the exact 382 retracement, the low we made way back here in May. So that's what we're paying attention to here now, and we're going to see if this holds, because if this holds, we could have another whole leg up. This is our first major correction. It's taken just a little over, how has it been here? It's been about 5 weeks now, 6 weeks. And so that's about all we're going to get, right at the 382 to the tick. And then, of course, we were able to recoup some really nice profits in the short euro today, which is nice. So we're going to take a break here. Hopefully, 877-927-6648.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we will be looking at the chart here that Larry Williams posted here in he has a new webinar, what do they call those things? A YouTube channel. It's 30-minute YouTube. You just go on to Larry Williams YouTube. You'll be able to find it. And he shows these different charts. But I wanted to bring him to your attention because, he does great work. And even though it's not 100%, it's still something that we can use, especially when you match the patterns and the cycles together. As we're looking here at this chart here, this is crude oil forecast. And as you can see here, this is the forecast for the year. We're looking at something like this. Right here is where we are. As from what I understand, I would double check this just to make sure that's where we are. That's exactly where we are. And let's just move this over here. By the way, LNN Publishing is Larry N. and Louise. It's his lovely wife, the supermodel. He's like Tom Brady. Anyway, you'll notice that chart has been pretty accurate of what's been happening with the crude oil complex. Now, should we go below $84, close below $84, that's going to change the format of this, because that means we're probably going to come down hard into early December. We've got 2 more weeks to go to get into December. Can you believe we got Thanksgiving next week, folks? That's really hard to believe. And remember, the day after Thanksgiving is the day with the highest percentage of market closing up of any day of the year, going back since the Dow started in 1896. 76% of the time, the market will close up the day after Thanksgiving, 76% of the time. And the days that it don't, get ready to sell it, because it's going down with a high degree of accuracy. So we want to watch that one very, very close. So anyway, that was another one. Another one that Larry brought to our attention that I think is good, because if you like, I didn't put up the one for Tesla, but I will discuss it. Let's get the one up here that Larry brought to us with FANG. And he is looking for some pretty exciting things getting ready to happen to the FANG stocks. And remember, these are not certainties, folks. These are prognostications, you know. Anyway, you'll see here's where we are starting now. He thinks sometime here, right after the first of the year, we're going to start to see a really big, dramatic move in, the FANG stocks. So we'll see, with the exception of Tesla. You'll have to pull that one out of the YouTube thing yourself, because I don't look at Tesla very much, and actually the chart was so darn complicated I couldn't make any sense out of it. So, but he said that he had these charts were really negative towards Tesla. So, frankly, I wouldn't fade anything that Elon Musk does, because he's a pretty smart dude. And he gets a lot of flack, but, by gosh, he certainly does some things right. That's my guess. Anyway, and of course, he was one of the guys that started PayPal, along with Peter Thiel and a few of those other brain drain guys. Anyway, that's right around January, which is the January effect. You want to start looking at the possibility of going long the FANG stocks, and that's what Larry's looking at for the overall stock market too, is to have a little move down here, maybe taking out these lows that we made here on the 16th and making a final low sometime in late December, and then start the elections year cycle that is been so prominent. A year's ending in 2, that's has a really positive bias, and so we'll see if that's going to work out. But anyway, I bring him to your attention because he has a high degree of reliability. And believe me, I have been following his stuff since 1965. I think I bought everything that man has ever put out. And when I was at Drexel, I had a carte blanche on anything that I wanted. It didn't make any difference the cost, because they deducted it from my commissions anyway, and but they did pay for it, so it didn't make a whole lot of difference. And when I left, they gave me everything, so it turned out to be okay. But I would buy, I think the most that he ever charged was $10,000 on a system that basically showed the probabilities of number of days up and number of days down. I believe that's the one it was, and it was, very, very helpful, because I still do the counts. And that goes back to what Tom DeMark does with his 13-period counts and other stuff like that. But folks, I'm just an old sawdust cowboy, and I'm not a cowboy. I don't even like riding horses. Betting on them, now that's a different situation. But anyway, the thing is, I know one good thing. I know how to do ABCDs and how to add a couple Fibonacci numbers in it. And I see that, and I say, okay, I know that's what my odds are of being right or wrong. And boy, when I'm wrong, I like to get out of Dodge just as fast as I can. I don't want to try to catch a falling knife. It's not worth it. All it does is just drains your energy, and it just keeps you unable to do the next trade. And that's the main thing, because that's one of the things that kept me alive in my whole. If you have a loss at the end of the third day, you should be out of that thing. I mean, because you're wrong. You're wrong for several different reasons. One is the market's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, right? Okay, now you've increased your risk exposure. That's number 2, right? And you've increased your margin exposure. So you got 3 things against you. Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. Get out of the batter's box. Go change bats and, wait till they bring in a relief pitcher. Pitch to let somebody else pitch to you because it's not working. It's just not working. Just go through it. When I was on the floor of the exchange, Barry Lind, he said, what can I do to make your stay here in Chicago? I said, if I got a loss at the end of the 3rd day, take me out. I don't even want to see the order. Just show me that it's off my equity run. And it was 3 or 4 times in those 3 years that happened. And all I had to do was reverse the position, and I would have made a lot of money. So remember those, folks. Those are rules that are on my little painting here in the office, is that when in doubt, get out. And if you don't know what the heck you're doing, stay out. So those are main things that we got from the work of W.D. Gann, which is he was always a very good, influential, person, in the market. Now, I want to get back to you to show you the importance of this crude oil chart because it's lining up with what Larry thinks we might happen, getting ready for a potential rally in here. And it's got to start right here. It can't wait much longer. But you'll see here we have a perfect 135 pattern here, folks. 135. We hit 84 yesterday. We got all the way up to 88. Folks, it was trading at 87 when the rocket hit, and it went to 88. $1 a barrel. Are you kidding me? $1 a barrel when a possible war going on? Give me a break. When they dropped those drones in on September the 19th of 2019, when the Iranians hit those drones on the Saudi airfields, crude oil was up Sunday night $9. Of course, it was the high tick for the year, but that was it, right at the 78% level at, I believe it was $69 or $70, and from there went all the way down to 30. So they're the perfect example of, pay attention to what the news is trying to tell you. If the news is following along with what the charts are saying, then great. But if it's not, something's wrong. Somebody knows something more than you do. And that's the whole key to what technical analysis is about. They can't hide from you. You can get all the bullish stuff in the world. If the market doesn't go up, where else is it going to go but down? Especially markets that are, moving around, quite a bit. That's the main thing of what you're paying, close attention to. That's what I think the importance of this is. Now, someone asked me to bring up the chart on Apple. Oh, shut the front door and raise the rent. Okay, just 1 second, boys and girls. We'll get this up here. Asked me to show the chart of Apple one more time. This is a weekly chart in Apple, and they wanted to know if I still believe that we're heading down to this level here in Apple. And my answer to that is an unqualified yes. So that's what we're looking at here. We're going to take a break. 877-927-6648.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD, Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I'm bringing a chart up here of Apple here. This is a weekly chart, and I put in the fib retracements here of what's happened here. You can see all we've been able to do in Apple here with these last several weeks of this bullishness that has occurred since we had that bottom is we've only been able to rally to 50% of the high that we made way back here. This is not a bullish sign. I mean, these others have, gone, a whole lot higher than that. It's rallied 13%. Now, I think that Apple did rise 13% from 138 up to 151. It's pretty close to that, yeah. Anyway, that's neither, that's basically what I'm looking at when I'm watching this. So I don't think the overall change of this market is really doing nothing other than following along with what the Fed wants them to talk about, and the fact that they think that we believe that there's a situation where we don't have any inflation present anymore. I see just now that we're getting near the lows of the days now here in the S&P. I think it's still starting. We did get up to 126.18 in the Treasury bonds, so that in itself is a pretty big deal, because I wanted to show you, because I really, we backed off a full point. Let's get this chart up so you'll be able to see it without too much trouble, because all we're seeing now is just an oversold market in these bonds, folks. And anyway, you'll notice here we went right up to the 61% retracement here from the high we made back here. We backed off $1,000, and then of course we went above it. We're heading up here to this 128 level that I mentioned earlier in the show. So we'll keep that one watching for the main thing. I will be sending out probably some emails on charts that pop up that look really interesting, but I don't think there'll be any videos coming out until Sunday night would be my guess, depending upon the quality of my voice. The doc says, you could be able to talk 2 hours after surgery, you might not be able to talk 2 days after surgery, because it doesn't, everybody's a little bit different. It's nothing serious, folks. It's just taking care of some sinus stuff that'll help me get away from these Palo Verde trees that that is absolutely killing me. So that's what we're paying attention to today and to Thursday and Friday. Now, I wanted to bring a nice chart up here. This is from right out of the Gartley book. I want to get this up here because in real strong trending markets, folks, we see these patterns that Gartley referred to as dynamite triangles. And I show these all the time by using the old 382, the old Tommy Hugard 382, because if you look at these dynamite triangles like this, where the market rallies up, makes a slightly lower low, then breaks it, but you watch these retracements here, because when these things are hitting right at the 382, it gives you a really good advantage of putting on a trade where your risk reward is going to be about 6 or 7 times normal. But remember, you're trading a really strong trending market. And anytime that happens, the market can immediately reverse. It's for some strange reason. Who knows what it would do? But when that does happen, what you've got to do is you've got to get out. You just can't do it. But as long as the trend is down like this, remember, folks, this is from a chart that was written or done in 1937. Well, it could be anywhere from 32 to 36 because the book was published in 1937, and the book was not a published book. It was a 3-ring binder. He sold 15 of them at $1,500 each, which was a considerable amount of money, and $250,000 actually. $250,000 back in those days was a lot of money. You could have bought a whole bunch of homes at that time. But anyway, this is what these dynamite triangles are doing. Now we do the same thing when we're doing the programs with the 382 because we're watching for a real strong trending market. We're waiting for the market to rally back to a 382 retracement and then sell it. And it doesn't work all the time, folks, but it works 65% of the time. The good part of it is, even though it's 65%, the payout on it is usually better than 3-to-1, and sometimes some ungodly number, like we've seen in crude oil and bonds and some of the others. So that's what these dynamite triangles are about. Now, on pages 200 to 250 in Gartley's book is where all of these patterns were lined up. The other 400 pages of the book, he talks about oscillators and channels and all the other stuff. Many trading systems have come out of the Gartley book. I mean, oh my goodness, that's where Andrew Lowe got all the patterns to test to see if these things actually worked. And so that's what we're watching here. Remember, Head and Shoulders was one of his favorites, double bottoms, and of course the old infamous AB equals CD, which was on 2 pages of the book, pages 221, 222, and then 249 and 250. He talked about the ABCD pattern. And then, of course, Manuel Brandel brought it out in 1976, calling it the seed program, because he tested cotton prices over a 100-year period and saw that almost everything was related to ABCD. Sit down, Johnny. I know you're clapping for Mr. Mandelbrot, but he did a good job, too, along with Mr. Gartley. Anyway, that's what we're paying attention to here with that. I'm going to start showing some more of these patterns out of the Gartley book because, he's really got some good things in there. The T6 pattern, which is also known as the reverse point wave, where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expanding triangle, which is a 3 drive to a top or a 3 drive to a bottom with an expansion. We see those patterns quite a bit, but everything works with AB equals CD. That's where the whole thing starts from. And as it does that, it just leads from one to the next and one to the next and one to the next. I try to keep it just as simple as possible as I can. Now, I wanted to bring up a chart here from our good friend Tim Bost. He was kind enough. Let's try that again, Larry. It's from Stan Harley. This is on the cryptocurrencies, and remember, this is a log chart from Stan. We'll get it up here so you'll be able to see it. And there it is right there. You can see here as we're watching this chart. Let's get this, make sure you can see it right there. This is where he's looking for a correction to come. Now, this is where it started, back here about, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And look at this. Now, he thinks we're going to get down into this area right about here. This is equivalent to $4,000 in Bitcoin. Now look what that is from where it was at 100. That's hardly any correction at all. Look at these big corrections that we've had, folks. I mean, these are huge corrections, but when you look at it on a log chart, it's not bad at all. So these cryptocurrencies, it's not a fad. They're here to stay. The question is, what's going to be the final outcome? The problem is now you've got the government involved in the darn things, and when they're involved, throw all the the other stuff out of the window. The guy that's running the SEC now, Mr. Gensler, of course, he was another Goldman Sachs guy, along with the guy who's running the UK, Mr. Sunni. So anyway, these guys are all over the place, so they know the rules. So you got to play by the rules that they're playing. So make sure you learn what those rules are when you're playing, especially with cryptocurrencies, because they could change them in a heartbeat, and the game could be over. It literally could be if they decided to shut it down, but they're involved in it. So I don't believe they're going to shut it down. That's what it looks like just by looking at the chart on the long-term basis. We're going to pay a few bills here. We'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, folks, the $64 question that we need to answer, and that is the high that we just made up here at 40.65 the other day when the Federal Reserve came in and told us that inflation was going down and everything was going to be wonderful and all of our addresses will be changed to Camelot. Well, whether that's going to be the case or whether it's going to head back down again with some other catastrophe that's out there, who knows what it could be. But here we're now trading 100 handles on lower in the S&P 500 at 39.70. The high was 39.40.65 during that run up. And that's when the Dow Jones was up 1,200 points in that one day. Remember, any market that can give you $1,200 can take it away. But when they take it away, they give it to you in a different format. In other words, if you take 1,200 times 1.618, that gives you 1,800. So I will be saying, and I have been saying for a long time, we're going to see a down day in the Dow Jones Industrial Average at least 2,000 or 3,000 points, 1,800 to 3,000 points, sometime between now and the end of the year, when I believe this bond market, where this stock market will finally have a bottom, and then we'll see what's going to happen into early 2023, whether it's going to be a prolonged bear market or we're going to have another rally potentially up to new high ground. And that is a question for the trading gods that we'll have to worry about at that time. Mention again, I will not be here Thursday and Friday. I'll be back Monday, full regalia, if that's what it is. And then we'll have Peter Elides next week, Stan Harley, and Tim Bost will be our guests, as well as Mr. Norman Winsky will be our guest on Monday for sure. He's already scheduled in. So we've got 4 great guests in early part of the week. So that'll be great. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless. And folks, for the Christmas holidays coming up, starting with Thanksgiving, do something for the folks that have very little, because believe me, we're blessed to have a few things, so share them with the others. So may God bless.